Hello, everybody, and welcome back. You're joining us just in time to hear the rumblings from the Thunder Down Under. ZenAku will be rejoining us in our third game of the night, Harry, where the Australian All-Star will take on psygib.
Yes, this is a matchup which will test ZenAku on how he wants to perform. We know that psygib, he had a very good first few stages. He's been a little bit flaky recently. He's playing like himself, but whilst everyone else has kind of like improved or played a bit more consistently, he's kind of roughly stayed the same. Not saying that's a bad thing. He's a very good player to say the least. But with ZenAku now, he's been known for playing extremely fast. He's a fast-paced player. He has a lot of agility. The only problem is he can be quite predictable. He knows this too. And when you're playing against someone like psygib, who's more a methodical player and will try and catch you off guard and execute you when you make these mistakes, he's the sort of person who will wait for you to make the first mistake in any way, shape or form. So the only problem is, what can ZenAku do? As long as he can be a bit more careful with his movement and how he wants to kind of approach certain situations, then it should be fine. But it depends on how ZenAku wants to do. We know about, the ping disadvantage and how it's a lot harder for him to maybe try and get to certain scenarios or maybe try and make certain things happen. But it's the only way you can play against psygib. If you're going to play aggressive, you've got to have that strategic aggression. And what I mean by that is, don't just, chase after him. Don't just do one flank. You've got to keep thinking 3 steps ahead in order to try and take down this guy.
I think what's interesting as well is ZenAku back on week 1 of this stage, Harry. He got his first ever series win on the board. He was able to actually get a victory, which obviously over the entire course of the previous season, he wasn't able to do, which was a huge feat, right? So already that's a complete turnaround from the previous season. Maybe this bodes well for him. Maybe things are going to carry on here in week 3. We'll find out. But let's talk a little bit about his opponent here in psygib. Of course, as you touched on, you feel like he's kind of potentially plateaued, maybe, Harry. Is that what you feel like has happened here with psygib?
I'd probably say plateau to a certain degree, where he's always been very good. He's been improving throughout each stage, but now he's kind of stabilized and is kind of in that purgatory period where I feel like a lot of the other players in the Americas just seem to have improved a lot quicker, but that's because they weren't as skilled in psygib at the time, which is understandable. But psygib now cannot underestimate ZenAku here, because I feel like ZenAku has had a good past couple of weeks. Like you mentioned earlier, he won his first game. He's actually won 2 series now. He beat Effortless 2-1 in the first week. He beat Genic in the second week. So, compared to the last stage, ZenAku's on a little bit of a streak. So I don't know what he's been doing during the slight off season, between stage 3 and 4, where he's probably been scrimming or just trying to do everything he can. But ZenAku is a grinder, and he's been doing really well over the last few weeks. It's just a matter of, okay, you did it against Effortless, you did it against Genic. They're not the top players in North America. We expected to see what he can do maybe against a psygib, maybe a Dramis, or even to Hang or Rafa to see what happens. But this is going to be ZenAku's next true test to see if he does manage to take down psygib, then it means things are looking good and people are going to be slightly more worried when they come up against ZenAku.
Yeah, which is a good thing. It's a good position to be in. It's great to see the development of that talent. Let's have a look then at the picks and bans. Getting straight into the vetoes, we'll be able to have a bit of a deeper look at the overall flow of this series and see if maybe that swings us one way or the other. Awoken to start us off, Harry. That's going to be the big girl herself coming out for ZenAku, with Sorlag taking on Strog and Pika. Then we're moving into Ruins. That will be Anarchy versus Nyx. And finally, Corrupted Keep. Now, Corrupted Keep is immediately sticking out to me because we're getting the Scalebearer pick, but on ZenAku, with psygib actually going for the BJ. I feel like, in my mind now, Scalebearer has become a bit more of a psygib pick at times. He's quite potent on that champion.
It's quite funny as well, because with ZenAku, just in general, as a player, he favors the larger champions. You always see at least either a Sorlag or a Scalebearer, or maybe both. We've got it both this time round. But I also feel like the Max are to his advantage. Don't get me wrong, even though psygib has chosen Awoken as the first map, I still think ZenAku is actually very good at it. I don't think he's poor in any way or just average. I think it is one of his better maps. He may not think so, but from what I've seen in other weeks, he has played phenomenally well. He actually managed to make a huge amount of improvements on this game. So in terms of the map selection and the champions, he's in a great spot. It just depends on how psygib approaches this. Like I wouldn't say ZenAku is the favorite coming into this series, but I feel like the way he's been playing the first couple of weeks, if he continues that consistency going forward, the way he's been playing, like I said, he's got the champions he wants. He has the maps which he so desperately requires to try and get 3 series in a row. This could be a completely different version of him. And we said before where during the off season, he could have made a lot of improvements. Has the strategic aggression behind him, but didn't have the unorthodox style where he needs to change things up consistently. He was more thinking about other people on how he should approach him rather than himself. Works on himself, has shown exactly what he can do. So he's got the momentum behind him. Like you said earlier, he didn't barely win a series. This time round, he's already won 2, and we're in the 3rd week. If he wins 3 in a row, he's pretty much laughing at this point.
No, it's got to be great for him. I suppose even just individually as well, right? Obviously, with everything that had gone down, with the fact that he was, obviously he'd moved to Poland. We had the current climate occur, everything that's going on in the world, and he was able to qualify for the league. It's such a good upturn and a good individual storyline to see how much better things have started going for ZenAku. Because inside and outside the game, he's been an absolutely lovely bloke, Harry. I think just being able to spend time with him as well, with the stage 2 stuff, it was great to actually get a feel for his character. Very nice guy, clearly has the drive to want to win as well, and we've started to see that.
Yeah, mentality plays a huge part. With Quake, it's probably individually has the biggest skill gap out of any other esport. It's difficult to master, but at the same time, it's so rewarding when you do improve and get better and better. It's just one of those situations, really. So we'll have to see exactly what happens going forward. But when you do succeed, and like I said with Quake, if you're a brand new player, you have to learn to take a beating. It's part of the structure of Quake. It's just a very skillful game. But when you do,
way to learn, right?
Exactly. And if you're one of those players who are willing to learn, like as a brand new player, then that's when you can start progressing and you can really see how much you've improved over time. And with what you said about the mentality, yeah, if you're one of those people where it's like, oh, that was rubbish, oh, that was just a load of what's it or whatever, then and you just get mad and then you don't think about the consequences of what you could have improved on, going back through the replays or just going back through to see what you've done wrong, you're always going to be stuck in the same position. You're not going to get anywhere. But ZenAku is just a great example. Like Pro Leagues is making such a huge difference to the caliber of your skill. And ZenAku, this is his start of his 2nd stage. And look at the progress he's made. It's been ridiculous compared to most of the others.
Oh yeah, it's been fantastic. It's also interesting because now we've got to kind of the crossroads, the bump in the road where he has to go up against psygib, and psygib is one of those players that basically had to do the same thing, right? Showed consistent growth throughout every stage, started looking better and better each and every time we'd see him, was taking more results off bigger names in the scene. And now he's got to a point where it's just like, we know what's coming out from psygib. We know how good he can be. And if ZenAku's now starting to sort of, try and get the dirt off his shoulders and make that run for himself to make a bit of a name for himself here and prove that he can do damage in the NA scene in this season, he's already started it off with the best possible run. You've taken both of those series. This is going to be a bit of a harder one compared to the last 2. Is it possible to get the full 3? I'd like to see it, but I think it might be a bit too much of a hard fight, Harry.
Yeah, it might be a tall order here. We'll have to see. I think the opening game is going to kind of describe how the entire series may pan out, because it was quite similar with the last 2 series we've seen. One player will have a good advantage at the start but can't do anything on the back foot, and we saw that repeatedly after each map. ZenAku has improved a lot though. Yes, sure, he's got a ping disadvantage. Yes, sure, there is other things he could have done to maybe try and improve it, but it's extremely difficult. But with his game, he has definitely worked hard to try and just deal with the problems he has, and it's very hard because for some players, especially in any pro league, it may take a few weeks to adjust. For some people, it may take even an entire stage. For ZenAku, it did take an entire stage. It took throughout the whole of stage 3 and the finals, and I think he's gone, right, okay, I need to kind of rectify my mistakes by doing A, B, and C. So I think I remember Cypher, as you know, recently Cypher's just been playing like himself, like the old days, throughout the entire stage 3, the finals, and even recently in stage 4. And there was only a few things he had to change. He changes his cursor a lot. He not only that, but it affects him in terms of how he wants to do things. Even some of the weapon skins, or like the different ways you can change your skins in one way, shape, or form. I actually prefer that to make the aim feel better. It's more of a mentality thing. But even then, he said that there are certain routes or movements he used to take. he now has added a few more to kind of give himself more an advantage and a bit more comfortable, and he's grinded. So
Well,
there's
I
like
think
4 or 5 things there he's really helped to make him feel like he's in his old state of mind again.
You know what blew my mind with that as well? I was talking to Cypher about it. Like he had only just used a 240 hertz monitor for like the first time like a month and a bit ago.
Wow.
I think he'd been playing on like 120 the whole time. So obviously that again, that's like a huge jump. How much smoother that's going to feel for a game like Quake Champions as well. I'm not surprised he's straight just ripping heads off again. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's what's the best way to put it? I think there's a huge difference between 60 and 144, but 144 to 240, there's a small amount of difference, but only the top players or like high competitive players will notice it. So
it's
obviously
not
he
as much
noticed
as a
it.
stark contrast, but it is
Exactly.
smoother. It is definitely better. But all things aside, we're ready. We can get into the first game. Thank you for waiting with us on this one, but we're now ready to kick off the action. We are into Awoken. ZenAku is on Sorlag with a little 2-2, and he is taking a ton of damage, but he's roll reversed that one. A fantastic pirouette, and he's slain psygib to kick us off here on Awoken.
Will ZenAku even continue his run here? The first couple of weeks he's been playing in phenomenal fashion, and he wants to continue that as he has done previously. So massively stacked here, trying to find out where psygib could be. psygib is just holding that top mid control, listening out for where ZenAku could be, and has finally found him, hiding on that mega spot for the time being, trying to bait out psygib to come out of the mega. So from top mid, but ZenAku's going straight in here. He's just trying to bait him out, trying to push him away, and hopefully goes for the telly, which he has done, but just a little bit too late. But it gets the mega, and it's been a right nuisance with this item control, as you could catch him off guard here. The LG fight comes in, and that was beautiful. 10 HP left, as ZenAku gets the second frag, increases his lead.
There you go. 2 clean opening frags so far. Lucky to get away as well, as he had to take a bit of a Texas 2-step to the side and evade the damage that was coming out. Good adjustment there with a flick, warming himself up. Doing a little bit of target practice right now with the railgun onto the Pika, as he will take that down. An absolute ruckus is being caused by ZenAku right now. As the alarm is sounding in his mind, he knows he has to try and stay alive and run away from the oncoming attack.
He will for the time being, as ZenAku's just looking around to see how he can try and get away from the circumstances. The tri-bolt has come in and has put him back for the time being. Both players on a similar stack. But at the moment, at least he's got that top mid control. But for the time being, he's going to try and back away and get top mid. But psygib is just running out of ideas here. He's trying to keep him at bay. He's trying to keep him away from top mid. But ZenAku's doing the right thing, has that height advantage. The LG comes out. There's a lot of damage done here, but he's only on 15 HP himself, and psygib gets that first frag on the board.
Very nice. 2-1 then. psygib moving over towards the rail room, spamming out with the pre-fire of nails, switches back to the rail, but he won't land it. Pika comes out with delay, but it's not enough. ZenAku is able to just absorb the damage and make his move as he marauds over towards the heavy, slams it straight on, and tries to slam into psygib. But the issue is, by the time he got there, he was at the perfect distance for psygib's shotty to say hello. And that's just what he did, silencing him and cutting him to pieces with a buckshot. Looks to try and carry on to do a bit more damage as well now, straight into the transition of the LG to rocket combination. ZenAku taking a ton of damage, and he's finished off.
psygib waiting for the spawn. Realises that he decided to go down the hourglass hall instead. But psygib is just waiting patiently here, gets the LG shots in, gets the rail to boot. ZenAku is so weak, but as I say that, picks up the mega. I'll get a few cheeky shots there with the nail, but finds him anyway with the LG, cleans house, and now increases his lead in favour. 4-2, waiting for the spawn once more. Doesn't go the way he wanted him to go, but will find him top mid anyway. psygib decides not to chase him down for now, both an equal stack. And ZenAku looking to try and add more weapons to his arsenal.
psygib. 2 frag lead, playing on top of the elevated angle, peering down to the depths below as he'll drop down. Actually, this one won't be lackluster, but instead it's a bit of a gut buster from ZenAku. Landing a shot with the rail straight into the chest and slaughtering psygib. Hitting him with a re-strogification once more. Pushes back over, attempting to really fight for control. A power struggle over who will claim the mega. And it does go in favor of psygib in the end. Much better stack. And using that as the prime opportunity to try and strike before the heavy comes up, pushes in. It is stolen, but it's still another frag, so the lead is being built. 5-3, 5 minutes into the game.
5-minute warning.
psygib with atomic control. A rail again. A second one. Beautiful stuff there from psygib. Just increasing his lead further, trying to get another rail to then rotate round to the other rail side afterwards, but decides not to. But it still has that spot mid, waiting for him to drop down for that heavy. LG comes out, the rail doesn't. Tries to go for a second time round, but needs to back away for the time being. He's literally right next to him, ZenAku. Managed to clean it up, and a little bit unfortunate there for psygib. But it doesn't matter, at least he's in a half-decent position. The LG, that was beautiful there. From ZenAku, he must have get the mega as well. And psygib needs to be careful with his actions in terms of where he wants to go to next. But as you can see, ZenAku's just trying to chase him down. Sadly misses that rail, but at least it gets heavy anyway.
Ooh. He's just being knocked up into the air. Taking the full frontal slaps there of the rockets, doing a nice amount of damage and denting him. He's going to have to buff those out of the bodywork. ZenAku turning back around the corner. Big shot from the rail. It's an awkward encounter between the both of them. And they trade. Oh, Harry. They've both blown each other to smithereens and left nothing but a pile of limbs on the ground. 7-5 still being the scoreline, as nothing has really changed in the grand scheme of things.
No, not at all. As 2 frag difference between both of these players. ZenAku with the stack. And psygib now waiting for that chip damage. Managed to get one. He's going to look for the second, which he does. But then again, ZenAku still has a very tiny advantage here. He's looking to try and push in, which he does. Suicide comes out, strangely enough. But that's one way for ZenAku to try and catch up here. But decides to push in. Both of them very similar, but instead decides to try and chase him down here. Tries to stop him getting heavy. He doesn't. Surely ZenAku's going to try and chase him down here, but he's going to be so careful. Not careful enough. psygib now changes it to a 7 frag deficit once more. So you're trying to do some extra damage there and keep him in that LG room.
psygib being forced back. He's hitting the middies, but he couldn't follow on to punish. 7-6. ZenAku, 1 frag away. He has an awful lot of time to work with, using the bounce pad to push himself up so he can leap back across towards railroom. He grabs the railgun, and now locked and loaded. Let's see if he can really fight a good fight here as he swings out wide. LG coming out, but he's paranoid and panicked. He can't actually hit the shots onto the Pika and left himself susceptible for quite some time. He does still get away with a good stack and the mega firmly placed in his back pocket. And he's now going off on the aggro push, baiting with a bounce pad and peering for the info plays.
ZenAku's in a great spot here. Got so much damage with that LG and the combo rail to clean things up and to equalise the scoreline. A better way to try and catch up here, but even then, so can he be careful? No, he doesn't. ZenAku takes the lead. So unfortunate for him there, but now ZenAku's still in a great spot in terms of stack, and Stat Heavy will be coming up shortly. First rail comes on board. He's looking to go for that second, but is waiting to see if he goes through the teleporter, which he doesn't. Flanks round to the rail side. ZenAku sadly misses that rail. Looking good here with 1:15 left remaining here, Jack.
Yeah, no, that's nice. That whole 35-40 seconds or whatever it was for those 2 frags, that alone from ZenAku is beautiful. If you condense that down, really sublime stuff to watch. The rail usage was so on point, and he keeps on doing it as well. The shots he's hitting right now are just remarkable. He's chiseling his name into the stonework here on Awoken. He wants to take this map, but he's doing it in such flamboyant fashion as well. A true showman here is ZenAku.
He's improved so much this stage compared to when we last saw him. The trade comes in anyway. 30 seconds left remaining. It's highly unlikely that psygib can even do anything to form some kind of comeback now, especially with ZenAku with the Mega. It's going to get heavy, and I think that's pretty much said and done here. psygib will have to pull a miracle, which won't happen here, but ZenAku with the first map win.
Yeah, ZenAku, great work. Didn't really put a foot out of place here on Awoken. It's more the rail shots, though, that I think we're going to be reminiscing about. Another trade! The final kill of the game's a trade, Harry.
Oh dear, trade after trade.
3 of them? 3 total, I think, throughout the course of that map.
I'm definitely going to say 3. I'm going to call it 3 anyway. But yeah, it was remarkable stuff. I was a little bit worried at first. ZenAku couldn't really... was just trying to find his stride at one point. But then psygib was running out of answers to how to counteract him. psygib's aim wasn't as good as what you saw from ZenAku's. But you saw from ZenAku, he's still showing that aggression, but it's just changing things up a bit. He's making sure that he's not always doing the same route. He's always doing not the most unpredictable ones, but the ones which are always going to be more in his favour. He's not taking as many big risks, and he's just playing, probably the best word is sensible. He's playing sensible, but to a point where he doesn't need to take too many huge risks to try and get anything further, to try and gain anything. So psygib, like I mentioned before, he needs to try and be a bit more careful here, and he doesn't want to lose the series. ZenAku's already 1-0 up.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great way to open things up for ZenAku, right? You also get the added momentum then of coming off the back of that map. He's going to be feeling pumped, carrying on with the series. It couldn't have gone better, and it's fantastic to see, because psygib definitely is, I'd say, up until this point, the hardest opponent he's faced so far this season. I think that is fair out of the other competition we've seen him go up against. Now, Ruins being our second map here, changing up the champions to switch things up a little bit in the sense of psygib coming out on Nyx, and ZenAku rocking Anarchy. It's a bit of a game changer. I'm curious to see how well psygib's going to be able to pull off the Nyx play here.
Yeah, again, you know, this will be ZenAku's map pick, but you've got to also remember the fact that Awoken, I said it before, it's not really ZenAku's worst maps. I'll probably say more one of his better maps. I've always seen him. Every time I see him play or cast him, it seems to be on Awoken every single time. But I'm not saying it because of those facts. It's more just due to the fact that, you know, he's a fast-paced player, but it just seems to always be a little bit predictable. This time round, throughout the entire stage, he hasn't. I've watched his previous games, and he seems to be really on point with what he wants to do and how he wants to execute things. So psygib now, you know, he's got to win 2 maps in a row to try and take the series, and is it possible? I'm not sure, really, because the maps look way too good for ZenAku.
Well, the issue is as well, like, if you think about it this way, right? The last map is going to be Keep, and ZenAku's actually pretty good on Keep. Like, he's not bad at all. It's also another heavy champion that he's going to be happy to be able to pull out. Scale bearer, though, so a little bit different. More about the ball rushing rather than being the big green girl in Sorlag and launching about the place, spitting everywhere. So, I don't know, Harry. The way it's shaping up right now, it looks like it's the Cinderella story for ZenAku, and what a storyline that would be if we find him getting even more success in the Pro League. But for psygib, there's always a chance he can resurge. He is a really good player. He's a good jeweler. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is kept a lot closer, at least here on Sarnath.
It's funny that ZenAku was struggling to win one match. Like, it would take the odd map here and there last stage, but would never close out the series. It was too much of a struggle. But now, yeah, he's won 2 in a row, and it's been 2 weeks. It's the 3rd week. If he wins 3 in a row, then I think people can have a different picture of him compared to what we've seen before. You know, he's not the same person where he was super aggro but predictable as hell. He's not that kind of person where he will actually do the same thing or have the same routine or path, or how he actually, you know, kind of not controls the items, but how he prepares for the items beforehand. Completely different. He's a new man, kind of like Genic in some ways.
Well, I think this is more akin to the ZenAku we saw at the stage 2 finals, right? When we were in Poland. This is when we saw him when he had that debut on LAN, and we were like, man, he's actually pretty damn sick. But the issue is, going straight into that online season, he hadn't adapted to the ping differences. Now, after a season of play, it seems like he certainly has, and we're in. So we're not going to mess around. Let's see if ZenAku can try and keep it composed and keep it moving in his favor, or if this is going to be psygib knocking down the door and coming back into the forefront of things as we step into ruins.
You think so, considering how good psygib is? But ZenAku's just holding his ground for now to see exactly what he's doing. Gets one quick shot off with the heavy machine gun, just to let him know that he's being wary of his situation. But both players have a very healthy stack. psygib is just a little bit early on some of the angles he's holding. Expects him to drop down, but this time he'll be going for the heavy. He's the one who wants to try and do it. But ZenAku's just got the mega, but it looks like he's going to try and contest it himself anyway. And I think that's the right move. ZenAku decided not to challenge that any further. That 54 damage is enough to keep him at bay for now. But look at this. psygib is on his tail, is going straight in, but took a huge amount of damage from that first rocket. Gets the mega, and now he's after blood once again. He's got to try to around the lights. Army's got the hourglass here, which is really needed. He injects later on. The Sarnath to fake the comeback. But psygib's going to be, for now, just holding his ground.
psygib. Overwhelmed there. Annihilated in the first encounter. ZenAku being able to punish him with the LG, looking like a Sith Lord as he went into that fight and came out on top with unlimited power. Quickly flitching himself back around as well to try and dash out at the damage that was coming towards him. We're 2 minutes in. He's already had the first frag. He's going to get heavy control here as well towards the heavy room. psygib, on the other hand, has his Ghost Walk available. So if he gets into a fight he doesn't really fancy, he can peace out and just run away.
Saying that now, psygib does pick up the mega. ZenAku knows that he's trying to get a little bit of chip damage going, but standing his ground with that LG and rocket, but it doesn't decide. Can't decide what he should be doing, but he's going to get a little bit of damage off, but he's definitely in no way in position to try and fight. Gets the light, gets the inject going. Tries to catch him off guard a little bit, but it just isn't enough there. psygib managed to clean things up and tie things too.
psygib. Oh, the flick coming out there was lovely. Very well played. Good adjustment. And a big tag. ZenAku left with really nothing apart from the adrenaline that's going to be pumping through his body after taking such a near-diff experience from the shot. Will cause him to try and sprint out of there. psygib back again into the game of cat and mouse as he'll look to hunt him down. Looking for any dirty paw prints that will be left in the mud here so he can try and chase him. He arrives back towards Mega. There's about 10 seconds till it spawns in, so he's just using this time to scout and get a clear indication of what ZenAku is up to. And actually, they've both had the same thought process here, so the reposition could mean we're going to have a fight in the heavy room.
Does pick up the heavy once again. psygib constantly trying to corner him off. It may be able to this time round, but the Anarchy can just be a little bit too fast. The inject comes in. Helping him increase his speed and picks up the light too. psygib just isn't having much luck here as he actually pulls back, and I don't think he really expected it too much. The rail comes in too. And ZenAku has to pull back here as psygib once again gets the mega. Tried to contest the heavy at the same time, but it's just too little too quick. The LG comes through, he's going to chase after. The rail comes out for ZenAku, but it's just not enough as psygib manages to take the lead.
So the scary part about controllers as well right now is essentially to every one mega that ZenAku gets, psygib is allowed to get free. Like we're starting to see this big blow for psygib, just bullying him off the items, which is a worrying spot to be in on a map like Ruins because of how quick the rotation points are from heavy to mega. You can really dominate if you muddy the timing and keep throwing off your opponent, and that's just what he's doing.
Yeah, I was going to say, ZenAku knows that the item timing difference is only about 2 seconds, so even if he hasn't got the weapon in his arsenal, he can still grab that heavy straight afterwards because he knows psygib's going to prioritise the mega. But as I say that, he's coming in, the rail comes through, and ZenAku takes that nicely. Quite easy for him too. Gets to heavy as what's a boot, and he's going to try and back away for now. This is a perfect position for ZenAku now, with a champion like Anarchy to try and hunt him down, corner him off, suffocate him in any way. This could be the perfect instance if he gets that first shot off. But it doesn't for now. He's waiting for him to go back for the telly. And decides to hold back. Just holding that top control until the next mega spawns. But the timing is much easier for ZenAku to control. It's about 4 or 5 second gap. More than enough time to grab both items. Oh, I love this. So he's just baiting out the heavy. Just delaying the timing as much as he can to throw psygib off guard if he does decide to go for the heavy in the next 30 seconds.
ZenAku turns the corner, realised there was a trick afoot as psygib was going for a very sneaky play, reappears, materialising out of thin air and ready for a fight, but the issue is he was pushed too far back. The rocket knocking him further and further away, but the rails from ZenAku were slightly missing, a bit ambitious as well. Oh, going from the distance inside. Gangster. Hide as he'll lie in wait, but it isn't going to be a comfy spot to play from. ZenAku puts the pedal to the metal and hits it with the aggressive burst coming through, cutting him down like a chain straight through a tree.
No complaints fair, gets the mega. Even then he does have a slight stack advantage, not anymore as the rail when the rocket comes through. And psygib now regains that lead, but has to be careful here, gets to heavy. Wants to delay things even further, not to make his movements too predictable. psygib now does have a healthy stack, he's going to be waiting for the mega for the time being. As ZenAku's just picking his brains at what he's going to be doing, but I don't think he expected that to come straight through, making the assumption that he's pushed a little bit too far forward with the Ghost Walk. And every rail matters here. ZenAku, one rail and he could be down, but 14 HP for psygib. Looks like he's not going to go for it. Decides to prioritise the heavy, but it doesn't matter. ZenAku with that rail, that was beautiful stuff there.
ZenAku charging in, launching himself over the rockets, bouncing like a very aggressive game of Frogger to keep himself alive as he charges back, looking for psygib, craving a fight between the two of them. He does have a slight edge when it comes to the health side of things, but the issue is psygib's going to get the heavy pickup, so now they're on equal footing, and they've only got 2 minutes. They are tied, though, so they can afford to just run and waste time, play the game out until they're in a better standpoint when they feel like they're ready for a fight. ZenAku jumped over the mega. He didn't get it. He popped the injection and got away, but he missed the mega on the spawn, meaning that they're now even closer on overall stack, and that psygib, he can build himself up. That's going to be a huge saving grace on a light champion. He fully dives in as well. Ghost Walk secured a major item, Harry. He has bamboozled him, lampooned him, and walked away with a huge victory.
Any word you want to describe that matter, that was absolutely ridiculous, and psygib now just trying to get away with his life. The only thing ZenAku can go by is his routine and what needs to be done. With Nyx, the hourglasses are so important, so he knows it's going to be around that nail gun area more often than any other part on the map. But this is where psygib has to be quite unorthodox with his movement. He needs to decide exactly where he wants to go and how he wants to go and do things. He decides to, he actually will play passive, will play as defensively as possible, which is completely understandable. But ZenAku's just chasing away. He's actually gone the wrong way. But as I say, he's got the mega and he's going to be pushing through the LG. But will he be able to take him down? Will ZenAku take the risk? He's so desperate, and he will do. ZenAku ties things up, and we could be going to overtime.
Man, 30 seconds. Survival of the fittest at this point. ZenAku, you can probably taste how close he is to a series win. And another very important one at that, but the issue is he's taking so much damage, he needs to run. The injection has to barely keep himself alive. The rocket damage! Knocking psygib down, they're just 2 HP, but it's 2 HP. at the worst possible time, because there is no time. ZenAku can't make it. He hasn't found him either. He's come skirting past. Ferrari peeked round the corner and not seen him. psygib gets away undetected, and they split the maps 1-1 apiece.
2 HP, 10 armor. And even right at the very end, he made sure not to take the light armor just in case, you know, if ever behold, he hears him take that light armor and finish him off. But I don't think he had the weaponry in his arsenal. He made it the MG, would have took a little bit too much time. But my word, that was a ridiculous map. And it's just like, even though that was the second one, it's going to make it an interesting show for the third map going forward to see if psygib can actually get a reverse sweep going off. ZenAku can get the third week in a row win. Yeah.
I mean, man, the fact it goes down to this at least gives it a bit more weight to the story as well, right? Especially with it being stolen away, essentially, in such a incredible fashion there. God, 13 HP, and he's still alive and kicking, and just somehow wins it off of his hide-and-seek skills. Ridiculous stuff.
You couldn't make it up, even as a light champion. That was absolute madness. I would have thought... I didn't think it was going to end like that. I just saw ZenAku was just taking every risk. I think psygib expected him to push in like that. I don't think there was anything which was not going to surprise him during that last minute or last 30 seconds. But it was just a slugfest. It was just absolute chaos. And you know what, Jack? That's what we like to see during the dying seconds. But psygib made the right decision, stood back. There's no point even attacking. He's in the perfect spot. And the spawn point he was at, it wasn't a common one. So he just knew that he could just basically chill out, relax, and just hope for the dying seconds to die off before it goes to sudden death.
Yeah. Fantastically played. An interesting way to round that final, proportion of the map out. And now we move on to Corrupted Keep. Again, here's a bit of a lifeline that's been thrown to ZenAku. He does like Keep. We've seen him play it to a very well point in the past. He is a good Keep player. The only issue is, obviously, the railgun is ripped out of circulation, right? I think that hinders both of these players equally, though.
Yeah, the skill bearer close range can be a bit of a pain in the backside. You'll always have to keep it out of range, like medium, long range, to make sure you can do something. Without the rail, it's quite difficult, but at least you have the LG anyway. So if he gives up any kind of stack, it's going to be a pain in the backside. But psygib, he does have the BJ, so he can dual wield to keep him at bay if necessary. Definitely an interesting one, to say the least.
Yeah. But it seems like we're ready to kick it off then. ZenAku versus psygib one final time here. We have our last bust-up of the day between these two men. psygib kicking it off with the akimbo attack straight away. Pulls out 2 guns, but the issue is he didn't have the batteries to keep him pumping out damage. So he goes down. ZenAku body slamming him into a pulp to kick us off. 20 seconds in, he's got his first pint of blood being spilt. And he's looking to do even more as he flicks around towards the statue room. And he's actually forced out of the fight. He's got very low. He needs to peel off and try and beat psygib towards the heavy. Issue is, he couldn't make it. Cut off by the shortcut that was used by psygib. They split the major items, and he goes down in the shotgun standoff.
That was a great play there from psygib, just always keeping him on his toes. He knew at some stage he would be around the LG area, but as I say, that ZenAku regains the lead once more, as now he's still got a decent stack. He's still in a position to push, but has psygib even got the weapons in his arsenal? No, he doesn't. He only has rockets for the time being. Both players pick up the items at equal times. ZenAku now has found him, baiting him out. It's going to try and ball straight through. Is he going to be able to clean him up though? No, he won't, as psygib is the one to clean things. A little bit of body disrespect there at the end.
Yeah, a little bit of body hurt. Coming out. The old Tetleys. psygib firing off warning shot after warning shot. Surprised by just how much carnage has really kicked off here already. We're only 1 minute and 30 in, and there's been 4 deaths. psygib looking for the chase as well. Justin, he was ready, pre-scoped on the angle, but he isn't able to hit any of the shots, unfortunately, for here. The follow-up is a little bit better on the sequel, with both of the rockets coming out as he's spamming them out one after another. Couple of connections here and there, but it's going a whole lot more in favor of ZenAku as he glides through the air gracefully, using the power of Zeus to burn a hole through psygib, taking him down with the LG.
It's only been 2 minutes, but both of these players have been trading back and forth. And I'll say that, it's actually been the entire series. A little bit faster paced. It is Corrupt to keep after all. ZenAku now taking a huge risk here. Try and ball rush. Going to psygib, but psygib knows he's weak. He can't find him. He's literally bouncing on top of him at that point. psygib manages just to get away with his life. ZenAku now is just looking for the slightly weak psygib here, but some good shots come in, gets the light. In for the Mega to appear, which he does get as well, but the dual wheel does come out for psygib as he's going to try and do as much as he can. And ZenAku now put in the wrong position there. psygib once again gets the lead. ZenAku now just fighting for his life as he takes more damage and possibly runs into psygib here.
psygib with the fadeaway rockets to try and push him back. The level of hectic aggression we've seen coming out here, certainly mirroring the fact that there is no rail. They don't really have any of the weapons to allow them to play from such a substantial range. Instead, it's been a lot more close combat, quarters aggression, and psygib perfectly played with the rockets, like stepping stones. He built an aerial bridge for ZenAku to walk up, and then smashed him back down to reality, cleaning him out and getting another frag on the board. 5-3. The aggro plays that are on display clearly just keep on coming.
Yeah, ZenAku, it was a risk he felt like he had to take, didn't go in his favour. But psygib now is doing a good job retaining his stack once more. Knows exactly where he is, but decides to sit back and wait for him to make the next move. The rockets come in. Not well placed as he would like, but it's just to show map presence to keep him back for now. But the ball rush comes in. Surely ZenAku's going to clean this up. Yes, he does. Only one more frag now to tie things into an exciting series. He's only at the halfway mark, but as you saw there, psygib wasn't expecting him to come from behind like that. Gets to heavy, but what more can he do? ZenAku's so tempted to try and clean things up. Huge advantage for him, but psygib decides to push anyway to hope to make him think that he's going to pull back, but absolutely not, as ZenAku looking very good, very healthy, in a good spot, but I don't think he's going to realise that psygib was thinking of actually trying to pressure him in some way, but has pulled back for now. And ZenAku is going to try and get the heavy. Doesn't get it, and psygib actually gets it himself, and now retains the lead.
5-minute warning.
5 minutes have passed. Halfway through the action here on the final map. psygib currently leading, looking like he wants to be able to shut down the series and take it as a victory. And denied the streak for ZenAku. ZenAku, however, can he wake up in the downtime? Good shot with the rocket, but he's low on HP. He's trapped behind the angle. And it is a clean kill for psygib, spamming down and obliterating it. Actually opting to follow it up aggressively as well, diving straight back in. Issue is, he lost the heavy. I thought that could really come back to bite him in the bottom, and it seems like it will. ZenAku was just taking time to get a bit of a run-up into that fight.
These two players have caught each other with the trousers down on numerous occasions here. ZenAku trying to bait out psygib to push him into that open space so he can bull rush, but psygib knows exactly what's going on, isn't going to fall for that play. ZenAku's looking very good here, apart from the LG coming out from psygib. Absolutely dismantles him, destroys him here, but the ball rush comes in, the shotgun comes out. Just not enough damage as psygib manages to win that bout. But needs to be careful with the stack he currently has. Even though ZenAku has the rockets, he doesn't have many other weapons in his arsenal to try and clean things up afterwards as he picks up the lights. Goes straight in with the dual wield. So much damage done and increases his lead further. ZenAku has to be careful. 3 frag deficit with only 3.5 minutes left remaining.
psygib is on the hunt, chasing down ZenAku at every given instance. Peeks back into him once again. His lead's really starting to bloat now. It's getting quite big and juicy. He's still hungering for even more. Bull rush, knocking him down. That's a huge change in the flow of the game. Really puts the pressure on him. Takes him down with a simple adjustment there as well to take down that last trickle of HP that he had. We're at the 7-minute mark. He's forced back off, but he still gets the kill. psygib detonated in midair by the LG. We're now down to 1 frag again. This game is so back and forth.
Thought psygib may have had a big enough lead to stabilise, but it looks like he won't as he picks up the Mega, goes for the full rush, doesn't get him. The shotgun comes out from both of these players, but psygib is the one who wins that bout once more. 75 HP, but ZenAku is going straight in, was hoping to try and finish him off from that last fight, decides not to. Mega will be the next item to contest for both of these players, as right now ZenAku is just trying to get some of the weaponry in his arsenal once again. Pushes straight through. I don't think psygib actually expected it. Cleans up, and the Mega's coming up in the next couple of seconds. That was the perfect time. But ZenAku hasn't actually gone for it yet. It goes for it now, luckily with just a nick of time. I was going to split hairs in at that one stage, but he just jumped off. He just got cleaned up from the rocket, sadly. But still has 2 minutes left.
It's certainly doable. Yeah, it's getting worse, but
just a little bit.
yeah, I mean, it is certainly still an opportunity for him. It's just quite rough the way things have suddenly started to fall into place for psygib. You knock him out, you get the follow-up frag instantly. He's been obliterated, though. And this seems like ZenAku's gone a little bit Hulk mode, almost like the aggression's just come out. He's got angry. And this Australian wants to try and pummel. That's just what he's doing. Using the nails of all weapons as well to lead his opening bout with. I suppose he doesn't really have much else in his arsenal. So he just basically has ammunition for. Restocking the ammo on the nails at this point. Bull Rush is in reserve and ready to go. Good response on the corner there. Spamming out the rockets. Goes back for the major items. He's still playing the basics. But in the final 60 seconds, you need to throw that out the window, and you need to brawl like a gladiator.
This is getting way out of hand. ZenAku has the huge stack. psygib knows he has to play the waiting game. Will ZenAku finds him? If he gets his first frag, he can definitely relay it with another, depending on his spawn cycle, but pushes through, but he got caught off guard with the dual wield in the LG, but it doesn't matter. ZenAku's still got a huge advantage. Will he be able to take him down? Surely he will. Yes, he does. Gets the Mega. Gotta find that next frag here, Jack.
He's going to get both the major items out of this rotation. He just has to fight. You have to use the remaining time now to push and push and push. Find your target and slay him. That's the only thing he can possibly do. And psygib, with a mid-air turn, turns back around, looking like he wants to take the scrap. And it doesn't work. Sudden death is coming. It's guaranteed at this point. It depends on the major items. It depends if they get a little bit too aggressive or greedy. But a turn comes around, a psygib going in with a dual wield. It's been wasted, Harry. He might have won the major item, but he took so much damage off the sheer encounter that I don't know if it was the most beneficial play, potentially, with the weapon. He pushes back through as well. He's got the high ground, ZenAku! He went through the teleporter. The mad lad, Harry.
Oh, that was... I don't know, you can't make that up really, can you? That was ridiculous. psygib did a play which I did not expect. I didn't expect him just to turn around like that. I think he was hoping to take ZenAku off guard, and then psygib was waiting for him at the telly. ZenAku decides to go for the telly anyway. He was basically in a bad place. We knew that anyway. I think he was hoping that psygib would drop down, and then at the same time he can teleport up and then go through, but what a way to end the series. That was a great way to finish the match, in all fairness.
Man, I mean, obviously, like, unfortunate for ZenAku, right? In the sense, like, put up a great fight, good comeback, a couple of frags that were probably unnecessary for him to get because of how many times psygib was able to just blow him away and really keep building that scoreline, knocking him out with the bring outs as well. So many factors that go into that game on key. Overall, a great map, loads of highlights. Good plays from either player, but at the end of the day, psygib, he gets the home run. He walks away. He also stops the streak that we've seen from ZenAku. It was 2 series wins in a row, which is a huge feat for him as well. When you think, obviously, the season prior, there wasn't a single series win.
Yeah, compared to stage 3 where he didn't win a series to now where he's won 2 weeks in a row, he's almost taken down psygib. He's laughing at this point. He's fully thinking, yeah, sure, fair enough. There was a few mistakes he could have made and could have changed here and there, but that could have gone either way. It was just a shame that he got attacked so late on, and even though he was trying to go through, he was just trying to barely pick him off. Both players could have at least taken one shotgun shot and be taken down, and I felt like ZenAku just wanted to take that risk. It was a huge gamble. And I don't think he was actually in a position to even get away. If he went down to the hourglass side to get the 2 health orbs and the light, then, he's going to be stuck there. If he goes the other side, he's going to go down straight down the tall corridor and he's going to be taken down. And I think he was just keeping his fingers crossed where he can just make the assumption with the game sense he has that maybe psygib will just push him and just panic and then he'll go through the telly and get away. It wasn't to be. It wasn't the case. psygib kept his patience, kept his cool, and just waited there. Just wait for him to make the first move, which he did do, and that's the methodical player he is. So, but apart from that, that was a great series to end off.
Yeah, I like all in all, very enjoyable. Even the the third map especially had some of the more explosive moments in. Awoken was great. Good series the whole way through. I hope everyone enjoyed it, and there's still more to come as well, because we've only just reached the 4th game of the night. So the show is still young and raring to go, but it's got some fantastic competitors that will be showing up for that one. Cooler takes on Sparty. You won't want to miss it. Join us for that after the break.